Club Hoops podcast. Welcome. This is the only father-daughter podcast about women's basketball. I'm Natalie.
I'm Gregory.
Yes, the only podcast, the best father-daughter
Thank
podcast
you.
in the world about women's basketball.
We're the best.
In the world. It's Monday. I'm feeling every bit of a Monday. I'm tired. Extremely tired today for whatever reason. Maybe because we haven't seen the sun in weeks. I think Mercury might still be in retrograde because it took forever for us to set up today.
Yeah, we had our challenges.
But we're here.
We had our challenges.
They're just challenges, but they're challenges that only come on a Monday.
That's right.
Freaking Monday.
I'm glad we discovered the new lighting for me though.
I am too. We can see your beautiful face.
That's good. Appreciate your help too, by the way.
Absolutely. Just a reminder, we are on YouTube. If you're one of our audio loyalists, you can also go in YouTube and see our beautiful faces. Like, subscribe. We just dropped last week a YouTube only episode about LSU versus Duke and South Carolina versus Louisville. You all seem to really enjoy that. So if you haven't listened to that, haven't watched that, check it out. I will link it in the description box below. I've always wanted to say that. I've always wanted to say that. So check that out. Other than that, good weekend.
Good weekend. Great weekend, in fact. Just cold.
It was a weird
Just
weekend.
cold.
It was cold. Again, we're in California, Northern California. We have not seen the sun in a very long time. So it's starting to have an effect on me. Had a little cabin fever this weekend. Didn't go anywhere. So, this is winter. We're supposed to be hibernating anyway, right?
Supposedly, but still, we're not used to that in California. We're not, being, and I know we probably sound like, you and I sound like weenies to the rest of the country who's like knee deep in snow and high winds and everything like that. But, it's a product of where you are. And unfortunately, we're in Northern California and it is cold for us.
It's in the 40s.
Yeah.
It's been in the 40s forever. And yeah, very abnormal for us to be this cold, dark, and dreary. But it is what it is. Welcome to winter. Christmas is right around the corner. Oh, we got a Christmas tree.
It was a good weekend.
On Friday. It was a good weekend. Strange, but good.
Yeah.
Watch some good football. Shador, whoever you are.
Depending on where you are.
Shador.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to watch Shador. Yeah, it was cool. Kings beat a very, I don't know, I thought they were good. Miami Heat. The Kings beat the Heat.
I thought the Heat were good as well, but they kind of took.
Aren't they the best team in the East or
No,
something
they're
like
not
that?
that. I think Boston is,
Okay.
but I think the Kings kind of gave them a little spanking.
Yeah, Zach LaVine went off for about 40-something points. That's probably not going to happen again anytime soon.
Well, the game before,
I feel like
game before that, he only had 2.
Exactly. I feel like he's like, well, I'm done. That was cute. Finished for the season. But yeah, great stuff. So let's get into this episode. It's a fun-filled episode as usual. First up, CBA negotiations. We had a lot of movement, or a lot of information, I should say, released last week. We did an episode once again about this, a quick fast break. But since we've done that episode, more information has come out. So let me just set it up in case you don't know what is happening. So a new offer came out from the league, and of course, it is crazy. It's insane. They did offer, a new salary base, a hefty one, but with that comes other conditions. They wanted to cut housing, and also, what else do they want to do? They want to cut housing. Sorry, I cannot remember. Do you remember what else they want to do?
Start the season early.
There you go. Thank you.
Started in March, I think.
Yeah, they want to start the season earlier in March. And then the new thing that came out after we did our episode is they want to do kind of a combine as well. Now, all this sounds like a logistical nightmare to me because as we spoke about in our last episode, our fast break about this, you start the season in March. What are the college students supposed to
Yeah.
do?
Yeah.
Because the people that are gonna be in the league, they're probably gonna be, like, in the Final Four or, playing for a national championship. So what are they supposed to do? Same thing with the combine. Obviously, the combine will come before camp. So now we're really pushing everything up. And again, what are the combines for the college
That's right.
students? So what are they supposed to do? And if that isn't weird enough, they also wanna penalize players that don't show up to the combine. It's a very, very confusing because, like I said, those players will probably be in college. So, are they supposed to just dismiss themselves from their college team to come to your little combine?
What's the penalty?
I mean,
What would that be?
first of all, what is the
I'm in
penalty? I can't be in the
college.
league.
What can you do to me? I'm not even part of your organization.
I don't work for you.
You're not gonna draft me?
Work here.
Yeah, go for
I
it.
don't even work here. But also too, it's like I get the combine, I guess, and I was reading, it's not the worst idea. I think it's that penalty that people are kind of like, "What?" But also, I think the point of the combine is maybe to not have the can't be where everyone's getting cut or waived. But my thing is, how are you having a combine when your roster size doesn't allow for you to have that many players
Yeah,
anyway? What's the
yeah,
point of the
yeah.
combine?
And I look, there's so much wrong with that. Where are you getting money to have a combine if you can't, if you're taking away housing, you're trying to negotiate, revenue share, but you have money now to have a full blown combine in, I don't know, wherever it's going to be. And I mean, a
Right.
lot of this doesn't make sense. And then also too, these combines, you're going there, you're working me out, you're trying to see what my vertical leap is, you looking at my shooting, blah 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 blah. I am still in college. Okay,
Right.
I may have commitments on that side. I just can't drop what I'm doing to go to your combine. I mean,
Right.
I tend to think, and I've said this before, that the WNBA folks, who are negotiating this for the league, they're just throwing stuff up against the wall to see what sticks.
Right. Right.
You haven't thought this out. You couldn't have thought this out.
Right. And I think they're trying to model it at this point a little bit too much after the NBA.
Yeah.
And when the NBA has, I think they have different roster size. They start at a different time, obviously more money. So trying to model it exactly after the NBA right now, to your point, when you don't have the money to even pay the players what the NBA is playing, but you're demanding the things of an NBA player almost is not conducive to
Yeah,
this league.
because I found out on the housing thing. Remember, I said I don't think it could be that much money. So let's take Las Vegas, for example. But in the Las Vegas area, the housing, whatever you want to call it, allotment or that they give the players is a little over $1,100 a month. In New York, it's a little over $2,000.
Right.
I'm not sure. I mean, I think I am sure. Will $1,100 get you an apartment?
Not a good one.
You got to add something to that, I think.
Not in a good
Yeah,
neighborhood, it won't.
and in New York, I know a little over $2,000 will not get you a one-bedroom.
We're in
Yeah,
Studioville
yeah.
with
Well, you're in
that in New
Sharingville.
York
That's Roommateville.
and in San
Yeah.
Francisco, I know from
Oh, wow.
experience. It's good you bring that up because we put out the episode about them cutting housing, and a lot of people don't seem to understand why that is still not substantial. So I took some
Okay.
notes, and I'm just gonna do a quick breakdown. So right now, the WNBA minimum is about 66,000, and that includes housing. So after taxes, agent fees, union dues, all the stuff, yada yada yada, the player takes home about 3,700 a month. Okay.
Mm,
Whoa. And this is, because they don't pay rent. That's why this works. So right now they're offering about a minimum about 2,000, right? First of all, just off top, that puts you in a whole different tax bracket. You now have to pay more taxes because now you're making 200,000. You still have the agent fees. You still have all these deductions, from like Medi-Cal, whatever, all that adult stuff,
yeah.
and
It's
union
it's
fees, da da da
Medicare.
da. Medicare, whatever. Big
Yeah,
pharma. No,
yeah.
just kidding. So that 200K becomes about 9,000 a month take home, which is, oh, amazing. except for now rent is in the picture. Now you have to pay rent. So rent is about 2,000 to 4,000 a month, depending where you are. Just like you said, Dad. If you're in New York, Chicago, LA, San Francisco, you're not paying 900 a month. Even in Vegas, even though it's like you said, 1,100. Even in Vegas, that's not getting you like a nice apartment in a nice
No.
area. It'll help you get
Yeah.
it. Like maybe now you don't have to pay as
Yeah.
much, but it's not,
Yeah.
making everything work. So fine. So let's just say you're on the higher end of rent or whatever. Now you're netting only about 5,900 a month. Okay. So, which means after the adjustment, after everything shakes out, the WNBA players are making what? About 2,000 to 3,000 more a month than they were before the CBA negotiations, which still is not
Yeah.
it's not
Yeah.
significant because again, you still have training costs. A lot of these players do not live in the city they play
Yeah.
in. So they've got another apartment or place they've got to pay for. A lot of people pay for their own recovery rehab. Again, we talked about agents, supporting families. Some of these people have kids and, other people they have to support. And let's not talk about like if you get waived or something, you might have to break a lease. If you go month to month, that is higher. So it's not like, oh, you can't live off of 200,000. That's not the point. The point is you're putting them in a new tax bracket just to make what, $2,000, $3,000 more? If we're doing that, just give me $2,000 to $3,000 more and keep
Yeah.
housing.
Yeah.
Let's just do it
Yeah.
that way. Let's just do a
Yeah.
shortcut. Because why am I making 200,000 on paper, but I'm still I have the burden of housing. And again, as we all know, God, as we all know, you still have
Yep.
utilities. You still have like gas traffic. You still have to pay for
Yep.
food, gas,
Yep.
all that stuff. So it's not just like you can't live off 200,000. That's not the point. It's a bad
Yeah.
deal disguised as a big
And
raise.
I'll say this. I mean, I know us everyday people, you know, if we are making, let's say, you're a 1099 employee and you're making $200,000, and what comes with that are the taxes, the other things. So finally, like you said, it gets down to, oh, I'm bringing home, maybe 5 grand a month or whatever. Well, you and I and others, we can make that work. Okay. Because our lifestyle and our lives are somewhat predictable. Okay. We know what we have to do during a day. We know that we're not traveling or we are traveling, whatever the case may be. I think for the WNBA players who, like you said, what happens if you get waived, who have a lifestyle that's sort of subjective to uh, multiple changes, like abrupt changes, there has to be some compensation in there for quote unquote risk. And when you do deals, you do contracts, you do these deals with, when I used to do them with other companies, you build in a factor for risk. So it's a dollar figure of some sort that's derived by the accountants in your organization. But an individual player who, say, comes from overseas to play in the WNBA, you get housing, you get more money, but you get cut. Now that risk is going to cost you. So, I mean, there has to be a way to balance this out. I see what the league is trying to do in their defense, right? They are somewhat throwing things against the wall to see what sticks, but what they're trying to do is get to a point where something is like, yeah, maybe. Right now, everything with the Players Association is no. They haven't given them a yeah, maybe yet. And I think that's where
Yeah.
they're trying to like create some foundation so they can negotiate from that foundation. But they've got to get there quickly because time is running out.
And I think what they're actually doing too is offering things where it looks or appears like we're giving you what you want or close to it, but we're not losing
Right.
anything in the
Right. Right.
process. I think that's my issue with when the WNBA offers these things. It's like, yeah, we'll raise the salary, but now you have to pay for your own
Yeah.
housing. Or we'll raise the max, but now we have a combine. Like, oh, we'll raise that, but also now you got to start in March. Like they to me, it's so lopsided and they are not meeting the league or the players, excuse me,
That's
halfway.
right.
There's no half. They have, and like you said, maybe they're setting it up for negotiation. Like, hey, we'll start here, and then we can, go from there. But the starting point is
Yeah.
trash.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like,
And I
like I said, why offer me 200,000 when you're taking away housing? Just give me $3,000
Yeah,
more, and we don't have to do
that's
any of
right.
that.
Yeah, I mean, that to me, that's the simplest route. Here's your increase, and yet they've yet to even talk about revenue share. They've
Yeah,
yet
I think
they've yet to even talk about it.
yeah, it hasn't been the highlight,
Yeah,
yeah, and that is the Moby Dick for, the
Moby Dick.
WNBA players.
Hmm.
Remember that book?
I do remember the book. I know.
And the premise was, like, he had to get Moby
That's
Dick,
right.
right?
That's
That was,
Cap
like
Yep, the
so,
captain
yeah,
had to come back with Moby Dick. Yeah.
I read,
Yeah,
ladies and
clearly.
gentlemen. I read. Um, and this reminds me of I don't know if you've heard about this, but Odell Beckham Jr. was talking about how
Yes.
his $100 million contract wasn't enough for pro athletes to live off for the rest of their lives. And he kind of got some backlash too when because us normies were like, "You can't live off 100 million." But then Carmelo Anthony on his podcast said that after taxes, agent fees, helping family members, and your lifestyle, he understood. But which is crazy to me that they'll probably listen to Melo and be like, "Oh, okay." But when a WNBA player wants a little more, they're out of their
Well, that's
mind.
my
Like,
point.
and we're talking about pennies compared to the
Yeah,
NFL, right? I even made the point in the last episode that the NBA minimum still has players couch surfing. If you're not like the premier player,
yeah,
right? I
yeah,
use Jeremy Lin when he was in New York as an example. So I think a lot of athletes deal with this issue of, seemingly a big contract, but all the things they have to pay for and the people they have to support, sometimes it really isn't just enough. And I think 200K for a minimum for a pro athlete. Because like you said, if for us, yes, it's enough. But I'm also not a pro athlete. I don't have to be in the gym every
no.
day, all day. I don't have recovery. I don't need a nutritionist. I would like one. But I, I don't need a trainer. I would like one. But you know what I mean? There's different needs and different, like Mello said, lifestyles. Maybe I want a nice little car. Or maybe I want a little G wagon for myself. Like, can I live? So that's the problem with what the league has presented. Obviously, the players are not taking this. I'm sure they're going to continue negotiations,
Yeah.
but this is like what Breonna Stewart and Afisa Collier were kind of talking about with how disrespectful the negotiations have been. This is a great I can't imagine what we don't know got offered if this is what's
Yeah,
public.
yeah. Well, what I'm again, I'm hopeful. I am hopeful that I'm somewhat right that they're just trying to throw things out there, establish a base in which we can have a discussion like, hey, yes, maybe. But right now, they're putting out takeaways, mostly takeaways, because I'm taking away
Yeah.
housing. Oh, I'm taking away more of your time because I want to start the league early. Oh, I'm taking away, the opportunity for the college players to kind of finish their collegiate career. I want you to come to a combine. So they're putting out mostly takeaways, and the one give that they're putting out is, oh, by the way, we'll take it up to six figures. I mean, sorry, seven figures, but that only affects, like I said, 1.5% of the folks in the league, your big money players. So I don't know what the league, what the player associations have countered with, because I would be interested in seeing that. If they said, okay, we have this proposal from you, we didn't like it, here's our counter. Or if they're just basically saying, no, we told you what we want, deal with that. But I would be
Yeah.
interested in the other side, the response to these things.
Yeah. So that's where we are right now with the WNBA CBA
Yeah.
negotiations. We are nowhere. Long story short, we are absolutely nowhere, and there has been no progress. Crossing fingers, there will be a 2026 season.
Yeah, I'm
Now,
hopeful.
let's move on to Flau'jae Johnson versus Kara Lawson. In our last episode, we talked about how Flau'jae Johnson, when at the LSU played Duke, she was in her bag so much so she felt compelled to have a little side conversation with Miss Kara Lawson, trash talking. And people kind of were like, "What's the tea?" Kim Mulkey came out and said that after Flau'jae played this summer, she had to get it was Kim's responsibility to get Flau'jae's confidence back when she came back to campus. So people were like, again, what's the tea? Do they have beef? And I speculated it was about playing time. And lo and behold, Natalie was right as usual. Flau'jae put out some footage from this summer where she is visibly upset about her playing time. She was crying, I mean, boo-hooing in the hotel, saying she just wants to play basketball and she felt like she had earned more playing time, yada, yada, yada. Now, Flau'jae Johnson, baby, welcome to Team USA, where there's something called politics at play a lot of times. And also with Team USA, and we said this before, playing time is not necessarily based on skill. It is just based on what the coach's needs are, what they see. Flau'jae Johnson's not the first person to get snubbed on minutes.
Right.
We talked about my latest example. Diana Taurasi didn't play in the gold medal game for Team USA when it was in Paris. And it was her last Olympic.
Yeah.
Can you imagine? It's your last, and you get no
Yeah.
tick. On the men's side, Jason Tatum didn't like his playing time with Team USA, especially coming off a championship. He probably really thought he was probably the man and thought, yeah, I'm about to start, or I'm at least going to be
Yeah.
sixth, seventh
Yeah.
man. Didn't happen. Candace Parker got snubbed one year, didn't even make the team. Nneka, she also fell victim to that. Also, I think there was another example. Oh, no. There's another Olympic story I had about playing time and being snubbed. I mean, I guess long story short, it happens. And it happens to the best of players. And you can't let that rock your confidence. I know, and again, she's 22, and she might have heard about politics, and she could have been like, I'm Flau'jae Johnson. Like, politics, that's not going to happen to me. Oh, baby, it can happen to you. And it did. And again, it's not a reflection of her skills or what she can and can't do. It is really just how that coach and coaching staff want to play. Now, also, Hannah Hidalgo was in her bag this summer. Like, I'm not even, like, who do you sit on that team? You had Olivia Miles doing what? Like, the players that were on, they were on. So I will play devil's advocate and say that maybe Kara found herself in kind of a like, man, I'd love to get Flau'jae more minutes, but, you know, these players are just on fire. In case you're wondering, Flau'jae played 20 minutes in the quarterfinals against the Dominican Republic. And after that, 3 minutes against Canada and 3 minutes in the finals against Brazil. So this was about playing time.
Well,
Thoughts?
I'm hoping, and it doesn't appear that it happened this way. I'm hoping that Flau'jae understands, like you mentioned, politics after the
Mhm.
event, right? Afterwards, and it doesn't appear that she does because she just went right at Don State. Not I'm sorry, went right at Kara Lawson. And I'm hoping she also understands that in these type games, like the Olympics, Team USA, that you're not. It's not the normal environment. Okay. In other words, what
Yeah.
coaches are looking for is quote unquote who fits. You know, do I have the
Yeah.
winning formula? It. You mentioned, you know, the Olympics and the men's team. You know, they had Derek White on that team. They had Derek White. Derek White is not a big name superstar, blah 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 blah, but he was a great defensive player and he was a fit for that team. So and they left Jalen Brown, you know, other Boston Celtic great, left Jalen Brown off. So
Finals MVP,
that's
Jalen
right,
Brown.
right. So it's not about, as you pointed out, it's not about quote unquote the talent, but it is about, you know, what fits. Now, as a professional athlete, you have to sort of recognize that. I know ego's at play. Don't get me wrong. I know ego is at play 100% of the time. I'm Flau'jae Johnson. I am a LSU great. I am probably going in the top 3 of the draft. How dare you not play me? I get that. I get that ego thing working. But in these international competitions and events where you have the best of the best players representing our country, you have to realize you could be sat down. Okay. And don't take that personally. Like I said, Diana Taurasi, you didn't play Diana Taurasi. I mean, that in and of itself is criminal. But she
Yeah.
didn't fit the rotation. She didn't fit what was going on with that team. So DT didn't play. So and I'm hoping Flau'jae learned that. Although, like I said, the way she went at Kara, I don't think she was having it. Educate me on what? No, take this. Boom, 3. Take
Yeah.
this to the basket,
Yeah.
layup. So she'll learn. I think she'll, as time goes on, she'll realize there was nothing personal about that. This is strictly, how I felt like I needed to coach the game, and let's just move forward. Which I think Kara actually tried to do at the presser as well.
Yeah, I think Kara probably knew what that was about, but Kara won the gold, so it's not like she's gonna regret
Oh no, no,
anything.
there should be no regrets.
Now, if she woulda lost, maybe that would have been a bigger statement, but Kara's like, "Girl, we won." Like, I don't know what's going on here. But to your point, yeah, she'll just know in the future and maybe adjust her expectations if she so does pursue another Team USA spot. I can't remember, did she get invited? Oh, she didn't even get well, and see, she didn't get invited to that camp. That might be it too. The women's national
National
team
team,
training
yeah, yeah,
camp.
yeah.
Yeah, she didn't get invited, but, like, Juju got
Right,
invited,
right.
Lauren Betts got invited, so that could be she didn't say it, but I would think that would add a layer of frustration
Yeah, yeah.
to the situation already. But I did wanna say, in terms of politics, Arike has already stated this is why she doesn't try out for the Olympic team because she thinks there's too much politics at play and too many games you have to
And
play. And she's right. She does and Enrique's play does not fit Team
no,
USA. Like
no,
Enrique, we can't have you
no.
just chucking up threes and doing what you want on Team USA. But also she was right. She's like, there's politics involved. I don't like that. I'm not gonna play that game. And that's that. Isaiah Thomas got left off of the dream team.
The Isaiah Thomas
The Isaiah Thomas. And as he said, I know I fit the qualifications to
to
be
be on
on
the
the
team.
team. I'm not sure why. Well, he knows why. Isaiah, you know why you wasn't on that team. I don't know why you are playing that.
Yeah, yeah, well,
Look, Isaiah, again, no one is above getting caught up in the politics of Team USA sports or basketball
no. I
specifically.
I I really going back to, I get Enrique Gumbawale's, situation. In other words, I'm just not doing it, right? Going back to Flau'jae, I was really, as you know, I do love Kim Mulkey. I was I found her comments regarding having to build Flau'jae back up to be very interesting to me. I really
Mhm.
I really I'm surprised that that situation took a lot out of Flau'jae to the point where Kim felt like she had to build her up.
Yeah.
But you don't know because we don't know these players personally. You don't know, exactly what capacity, mental capacity she was in when she came back from that experience. But Kim's comment I found to be very interesting just for that one fact that, okay, now you have to build her back up because she had lost a lot of confidence. She's one player I don't see losing confidence, but that's just me. But Kim's
Mhm.
response was, I really appreciated, that insight, which tells me that Kim was watching the whole situation as well, her coach.
Right, right. And I mean, Flau'jae, you're in good company. Those people I named that got subbed, amazing, iconic, generational talent. So you should not feel any type of way that you didn't get any playing time. It's just is what it is. I myself fell victim to unfair playing time when I was in high school. My AAU team played at Arc Arena, which is no longer around. It's now Golden One, but it's where the Kings played. It's a big deal. I probably got about 3 minutes of playing time that game. I could not believe it. Couldn't believe it. And the excuse the coach gave me was because I'm the youngest on the team. Mind you, I'm the youngest by months. Like
Yeah,
this is not
yeah,
like I was playing up or
yeah.
anything. I'm the youngest by months and could not get a girl I played basketball with in high school, that was on my high school team, got more minutes than I did. I could not believe it. Because on my high school team, I'm the starting point guard. I'm the go-to player. I'm the MVP. And you're telling me over here she's playing over me, and that's no shade. I just was confused. When I did get in, I played terribly because now I'm in my head and like I'm not in a rhythm. My dad wasn't there because he had reserves. He is a former Air Force, if you didn't know. But I cried from the walk from the arena to the car, and probably cried in the car all the way home. and that wasn't even Team
The
USA.
high
So
the the high school
I get it.
trauma is still with us, I see.
Still
As
with
as
us because I'm still
as
confused.
I
I'm
as
sorry. Why?
as I would say with Flau'jae, you have to understand politics and you have to move on. Yeah, you should have played. You should have played more for sure. I mean, you were on that MVP run thing, but that, like you said, that happens. That happens.
It happens.
These coaches get a thought and they play it out, and unfortunately, some good players, get stung. So we'll just call it that for right now. But interesting story. Glad you told our listening and viewing audience this story.
That I have been a victim of politics
And
myself.
as your dad, it's good for me to hear this again and know that this childhood trauma is still with you, and we'll have to work on that in some kind of way.
Yeah, shout out to Coach Dave. Should have played me. Um, let's move on from trauma and talk about USC versus Washington. Probably the most boring game I've watched this season. Dear God. First of all, before we even talk about that game, why was this game on Sunday? At the time it was on, and now I get it. All of Sunday's competing with
Yeah,
football. Please, I
yeah,
get it.
yeah.
Sunday belongs to football. But for this game to be basically during Sunday night football is weird. This game should have been way earlier in the day. But I will say on the flip side, if you didn't watch it, God bless you. And if you did watch it, God bless you. Because the game was so, oh my God. At the end of the first quarter, you guys, it was 8-4. 8 points to 4 points at the end of the first quarter. The halftime score 22-22. Oh my God. I think at one point I just started doing laundry. I was like, I have to do something else. Like, I cannot sit here and watch this game. USC ended up winning 59-50. Ugh. And this was also the first conference game, which is again the time
Yeah, yeah,
the
yeah,
timing
yeah.
of the game strange. The way that the game was low energy, low scoring on both sides for it to be a conference game. Okay, it's still early, so maybe early season jitters. But I will say, for her to be a freshman, Jazzy pulled it out and she put the team on her back and allowed them to pull away, which I feel crazy saying because nobody was scoring anything. Um, the Washington was 6 for 25 from 3 point. USC was 2 for 17. Like, talking about this game, I can't even, like, there's no highlights. I just want to say USC won. Like, I would love to just stop there because there's no one that really stood out. I think Jazzy Davidson and Kennedy Smith did a really good job. And then you had London Jones. She ran the ball, ran point really well. But again, okay. On the other side, though, Savia Sellers, I will say she played really well. I think she ended up fouling out, but she had 20 points. And Avery Howell on Washington, he had 16. And Avery is a transfer from USC. So I kind of was interested to see how she was going to do against her old team and old coach. But again, nothing sparkly about this win. They just got it done. I think they will look at this game and say we got a lot of work to do because they've got UConn next week, or this week actually on Saturday. But any thoughts? Sorry, I feel like I'm taking
Well,
over.
I mean, you ran down, sort of a game that probably that probably should have, I don't know, been played in preseason. I don't know. I mean, but you have games like that. Unfortunately, not a whole lot you can do about it. You're not scoring. The other team's not scoring. One could say, "Oh, we just rose to the level of our If I'm SC, we rose to the level of our
Yeah,
competition. They weren't playing well, so we weren't playing well. Or are we
yeah,
degraded to our level of competition? And if this being the case, but you have games like that, and you're not going to have any quote unquote standout performers because it's at that point everyone is just trying to get through the game, and and,
yeah.
and so the performance is one of almost like a scrimmage game. We have to make sure we at least we win the scrimmage, but I would say the coach probably the coach probably can use this game as motivation for the UConn game. Like, hey, we can't play this way
Mhm.
against UConn because Gino will come out and he will crush us. You know, he
Yeah.
will run us until we can't run anymore, and then Sarah Strong will beat us down until we can't be beat down anymore. So you can use this
Hmm.
game as motivation if you're SC. So and if you're Washington, hopefully you use the game as for motivation as well. That allows you to say, look, we got lucky. Yeah, we lost, but we got lucky because it could have been worse. And
Hmm.
now or better yet, we got lucky. It could have been worse, but we should have probably won this game, and we did.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
you have to take this and flip it so it works for each team. But I would say right now, particularly SC, you use this game as motivation. You got UConn. For Washington, use this game as motivation for your next, few games and to call out a few players for performance. But no,
Yeah.
these games happen. They happen.
Yeah. Washington was out rebounded 38-50. And then the field goal percentage on both sides were atrocious.
Yeah,
Washington
yeah, yeah,
27% and SC
yeah,
38%. So I like that.
yeah. So so Natalie.
Sorry, guys. Uh, but what I was saying is about a minute left. I just was like, I'm taking a shower. Like, I think I put myself through enough. USC is probably going to win. I'm not doing this anymore. So I just, you want to see a better game talent wise but like you said, that these games happen, and then we keep in mind Juju Watkins is not
No
playing
Juju.
this year, and I think this is one of those games where I was really missing Juju. I was like, oh my god, if Juju was out here, I think USC would have a more dominating performance. Definitely be more exciting, but it's one of those games, and this happens. It's gonna happen all season where you're like, ugh, I wish Juju. Just this Saturday, for example, when they play UConn, this was supposed to be a Juju
It was
game.
supposed to be a Juju game. Yep.
A Juju game. We're not getting it. And by the way, we will be doing an episode about USC and UConn. We'll be, what do they call those? Pre-games?
We're gonna do a pregame.
Pre-game talk,
Oh,
yeah.
so we got fast break now and pregame. What did we do?
I mean, the pregame can be the fast break if we want it to be, but now that we're on YouTube, we can just we just pump out the content,
Okay. And
right?
give it whatever name we want to give it, right? Or
Give it whatever name we
got
get it. Slam
oh,
dunk,
got it.
full court
Okay.
press,
All right. Boxing one.
boxing
It's a
one,
boxing one. Yeah.
traveling, whatever. Three
Yeah.
seconds in the key. Ooh, that'd be
One four
good.
flat.
3 seconds in the key, where the episode is three
3 seconds.
seconds long.
Yeah. Like it.
Uh,
Like it.
but yeah, we are going to talk about that because I still think, we might have some interesting matchups and things to talk about of that
Well,
nature.
well,
But
it's always good. Look, let me say this. It's always good. I think SC is number 16 right now. It's always good to watch ranked teams play each other because I think the motivation for the lesser ranked team is that they want to prove that they should be ranked higher.
mhm,
So it's always good to watch them play each other. So I'm expecting a good game. I am expecting a good
yeah,
game.
yeah. All right, and before we wrap this up, I had a side note. Arkansas State women's basketball coach is pleading for the community to show up for the girls. Head coach Destinee Rogers spoke of the lack of fan support. Currently, the team Red Wolves are 7-3 with 5 straight wins. So she doesn't really understand why the community isn't showing up. So I just want to touch on the support for smaller programs and what it actually looks like. She had said in her comments that she doesn't know why the community's not showing up. And, we have players that stay that could easily go in the transfer portal. She doesn't know if it's marketing, if it's this. And I'm just going to go on a limb and say it is marketing. I think a lot of times people forget, especially at the college level, it's sports
That's right.
entertainment. Like you have to have some marketing, some storytelling, even. Like maybe the news needs to get on it, the local news, like, hey, we've got a team in our community that's won 5 straight and they're trying to win another championship. Maybe you have the team go out in the community and do things like, I don't know, charity work. whatever that looks like, or some type of camps you run for young girls and young boys, something like that. I think that might help, because we live in Sacramento, California, and we have a college in our town, and they had the same issue with the football season this
Yeah.
year, where even the coach, who now is going to be coaching at Colorado for Deion Sanders, but even the coach was on the news saying, like, we need the community to show up, right? And I think that's the issue. Like, unless you went to the school and you're an alumni and you're really invested, you're probably not going to just casually go to the game, and especially if you don't know about it. If you Nothing's connecting you with the team. So I just wanted to put that out there. Do you have thoughts
I
about
do.
that?
So I grew up in Fresno, and this is back when Fresno State really wasn't that popular. Okay. I mean, it was popular because of the football team, but the basketball team really wasn't doing a whole heck of a lot. And you're right. You do have to get out in the community and let the community know that, hey, we're not just a football school, but we're also a basketball school. And here's a whole bunch of tickets. So you start by, maybe the Boys and Girls Club, you give a block of tickets to and let them show up at the game. But you start by promoting, this free or this certainly discounted access to the game. You start by having certain events at halftime. I mean, that's what Sac State tried to do, right? They brought in some rapper
Yeah.
guy and uh,
Little
little yacht,
Yachty,
yeah,
we had Quavo,
being the boom, I don't know his name, but
PBG.
they brought in this
Yeah.
rapper guy and and in hopes of attracting folks. But there are things you could do. I mean, I don't know the Arkansas State community, but when you find a lack of interest like that, you do have to increase your marketing. You have to take it to the streets, and you have to take it
Yeah.
to the community. You have to go meet people where they are, Boys and Girls Club, YMCA. Maybe you go to the junior college and you pass out some stuff. But it's an effort. You can't just make this bold statement. We won five in a row. Come see us. No, you know, I have competing priorities. I may not want to spend the money for the ticket. I may not want to make the drive. But you put something in front of them, in front of the community that says, no, please do, and we really want you here. And oh, by the way, here's something to help get you here. Here's a free ticket. Here's hot dog and soda at halftime. Blah 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 blah, free. Obviously, you have to have sponsors and boosters that are on board to help pay for some of this. But if you really want people there, then you have to put in that particular effort.
Right. And maybe some FaceTime with the community, be it, you actually, like I said, actually doing events or something like that, or news, stuff
Yeah.
like that. I was going to say radio,
No,
but
no, but you
yeah.
bring the news cameras into the practice. You bring the news cameras,
Yeah.
into the arena. You beg, plead, whatever you got to do to get them there, particularly local news, so they can cover that story nightly if you have to.
Like Like here in Sacramento at Sac State, Mike
Hey,
Bibby,
baby.
Mike Bibby, former Kings legend, he coaches the team, and so that was just on the news, constantly on the news. Like it was a whole buildup, and I think that helped their attendance a lot. Obviously, they don't have a former NBA superstar coaching over
Right.
there, but that's just an example of the angle they used, the PR they used to get people to the games and at least get students
Yeah. Yeah.
excited about Sac State basketball. And they had a few recruits. I think Shaq's son plays on the team, and Shaq is supposed to be like head of entertainment for Sac State. And they had another highly recruited person. So I think Sac State, to be in a small, quote unquote, small town, small market, they've done a good job, a decent job of pulling in people and getting people to buy into their basketball
Yeah.
program.
And that's
Now, on the women's side, we don't hear a peep, but maybe
and Sac State
that's
has
something they have to
Sac
address.
State has a very good women's team.
And we don't
They
hear
have
a
a
thing. I haven't seen
very
a
good women's team.
highlight, nothing on TV. But, and that just speaks to also where women's basketball is. There's still work to be done in promoting it. Like I said, with this USC Washington game, why that time slot? But I still am like, okay, women's basketball still has a ways to go to get the treatment of the men's game. I'll put it
Well, they
that
do.
way.
They do both at the collegiate level and the professional level. But
Yeah.
they're going to get there. They are
Yeah,
going to get there.
for sure. Um, well, that concludes this episode. Thank you for listening. Thank you for watching. If you like what you heard, like and subscribe. If you hate what you heard, like and subscribe. Uh, drop your comments. We will comment. Follow us on TikTok if you
Yeah.
want, The Club Hoops. on TikTok, and keep supporting women's basketball. Keep watching. Again, we will be back to talk about some games that are coming up, and if anything happens on the CBA side, we'll be sure to keep you updated. Dad, do you have anything you want to promote before we get
I
up
don't
out of
like the
here?
way you say that when you smile. I want to promote it's recipegenie.com.
And I will drop that in the description box
Please do.
below.
I've been trying to get
I
that out there.
will.
Just folks, take a look.
Yes, take a look. Speaking of take a look, I will be on Take a Look this week with Marcus Allen. It is our holiday special. We'll talk about holiday movies. You can find that on YouTube or check your local listings. It comes on TV as well. So
Wait, it's
that's
CBS and it also airs on the Armed Forces Network. I have to say that because,
thank you.
me being retired military and all that, the Armed Forces Network also gets it as well.
Thank you. I'm glad you know that. Thank you so much. That is very
I had to
true.
put it out.
Um, anyway, we will talk to you all later. Thank you again. Like and subscribe.
Bye,
Bye.
folks.